So let us discuss about the continue with the urinary system. So last class we discussed about the functions of the urinary system. A little bit elaborate we discussed. Even though you are not going to write each and every specific each and every point what I specified, and let us start to discuss about the anatomy of the urinary system, particularly kidney. Uh, the information what you're going to provide it depends on you. You can go for a little bit elaborate explanation or constructed one. I'm going a little bit elaborate explanation. uh, you decide whether it is required for you or not. I think it is necessary to understand, but on the paper it is not necessary. You have to write, you have to give each and every information. So urinary system, it is also called as excretory system or genitourinary system, and this is the system which produces, stores, and eliminates the urine. Remember, generally we think that it just produces the urine, but actually it also stores temporarily, and as well as it is concerned with the elimination of urine. And production of the urine, it totally depends on the filtration of the blood. We have not specified anything about the filtration here. We are talking about the production, storage, and elimination of the urine. And it's composed of two kidneys, two ureter, the bladder, and the urethra. The two kidneys will be there, and the two kidneys are connected to the bladder with the help of ureter, and the bladder eliminates the urine based on the constriction of the contraction of the bladder. The urine will be expelled out through with the help of urethra. So next is we'll discuss a little bit detailing about the anatomy. Location, this is a common question they used to ask in the final exam, Viva, practical examination, location of the kidney. It is present in the abdominal cavity in a space called as retroperitoneum. So don't forget this one. This is a popular question. And there are two in, what I can say, two in number kidney, and each side of the spinal cord, that is the spine. And exactly it is not divided into two halves. That means one is in right side or left side like that, because we can say that right side it is exactly in the right side, but left side we cannot say that it is 100% left side. It is more in the middle actually. They're approximately at vertebral column level of T12 to L3. The right kidney is just below the what I can say behind below the diaphragm, and as well as the backside of the liver. Repeat again, the right kidney is just backside of the liver and below the diaphragm, and the left is below the diaphragm. Sorry, the left is below the diaphragm and as well as posterior to the spleen. So both are below the diaphragm, but the thing is one is behind the liver and the left kidney is behind the spleen. And you know that on the surface of each kidney is adrenal gland is present, and it is also called a suprarenal gland. And there is an asymmetry in the abdominal cavity. You cannot expect a symmetry in the abdominal cavity because it is not exactly symmetric abdominal cavity. Asymmetry will be there. Due to the asymmetry of the abdominal cavity, what I can say, because of the liver, mainly because of the liver, that result in the right kidney is slightly lower when compared to left kidney. So left kidney is a little bit higher and right kidney is a little bit lower. And as well as like left kidney is more medial when compared to right. What I can say, slightly in the medial than the right. The next point is size. So this is very important. Right now you can't understand the significance of the size and as well as weight of the kidney. But later on when we start to discuss about the mechanism of urine formation, that time you can understand the significance of the weight and as well as size of the kidney. Each adult kidney weighs about between 125 to 170 grams in males and 115 to 155 grams in females. In average, we can say that we can take 150 grams. That means both the kidneys, if combined together, it is weighing around some 300 grams. That means plus or minus 10. The left kidney is typically slightly larger than the right, but the thing is a little bit upper in position, and right one is little lower in a position. And in average, both the kidneys combinedly, they are weighing around some 300 grams. So now next is diagrammatic representation. Observe carefully. Try to understand this particular concept. So it's necessary to understand the concept here. Now you observe here clearly. This is the artery, renal artery. You can observe that renal artery is split into two. I think you can see here. It is split into two. This is anterior and this is posterior. Anterior means in the front side it is entering into the kidney. One renal artery, which is a division, it is going back side of the kidney. One is anterior and one is passing posterior. I repeat again, this is renal artery which is carrying the blood to the kidney. Of course, I'm showing only one kidney here. So it is entering into, one is entering into the anterior and another branch is entering posteriorly, backside. And then this is a renal vein. So second one is a renal vein. That means the pure blood is entering inside the kidney, and then the oxygenated blood is entering into the kidney, and deoxygenated blood is coming out of the kidney. And renal artery, it is divided into two branches here. You can see that one is entering anteriorly and second one is entering posteriorly. In detail, I will discuss about the blood circulation inside the kidney in the next class. Right now, what you have to understand, renal artery, it is divided outside the kidney. It is divided into two branches. One branch is entering posteriorly and one branch is entering anteriorly. And so further division we will discuss in the next class. We will discuss about the blood circulation to the kidney. Now what you have to understand, the whole kidney, if you check, and this portion, this empty portion backside, you can see that this is called as renal cortex. This entire area is called as renal cortex. And you can see so many structures are there. This is around some 7 to 18 structures will be there. They are called as renal medulla. Kidney, I repeat again, the kidney is divided into two parts here inside. You can see that this portion is called as renal cortex. And this portion you can see that it is renal medulla. So I think you understand this number of the renal medulla is ranging from 7 to 18, depends on the individual, it will vary. Then you can see that one more structure inside the renal medulla. Can you see the striations, yellow colored striations in the surface of renal medulla? I think you can see this one, renal medulla. That is called as renal pyramids. So why these striations are there? Why these lines are present inside the renal medulla? That means these striations are called as renal pyramids. So why these striations? What for? Next slide you can understand. Right now you understand that the kidney, if the artery is entering inside the kidney, and then it supplies the blood to the kidney, and then the whole kidney is divided into two parts. That is renal cortex, and that is the empty portion, back portion is called as renal cortex, and inside, that means deep inside, it is called as renal medulla. And it is number of renal medulla is around ranging from 7 to 18. Inside the renal medulla, you can see certain striations are there, lines are there. They are called as renal pyramids. I think you can understand. That is renal pyramids inside the renal medulla. Now, one more point you have to understand. This is one renal pyramid, sorry, renal medulla, and this one is another renal medulla. You can see that between the renal medulla, between the two renal medulla, so cortex, renal medulla, the cortex is entering deep inside the renal medulla. You can see that the cortex is entering deep inside the medulla. Between the medulla, the gap between the medulla, these gaps are called as what you can say renal column. This is called as renal column. And this renal column contain lot of number of blood vessels will be present. That means this area, this particular space between the renal medulla, it is packed with the blood vessels. Lot number of small renal arteries, arterioles will be present in between the renal medulla. I repeat again, this is renal cortex, and these are renal medulla. Inside the renal medulla, lines are there, striations are there. They are called as renal pyramids. And between the renal medulla, this is renal medulla, the renal medulla, renal medulla. Between the renal medulla, the space, that means that is also cortex only. The space between the renal medulla, we are calling it as one name. We are calling it as, what is that? Renal column. These are called as renal columns. So that is filled with a lot of number of blood vessels will be present. Now, if you check this renal medulla, just to focus only on renal medulla, you can see that it is a triangular structure almost. And you can see this is a tip of renal medulla. You can see tip. This is the tip here. This is the tip actually. I think you in the cardiovascular system, we discussed one concept here. Heart. The upper part of the heart, we call it as base, and lower part of the heart, we are calling it as apex. I think you remember. I told you reason also. Because the lower half of the heart, that means ventricles, will work strongly when compared to upper part, that is atrium. That's why we call that lower part of the heart, we are calling it as apex, and upper part as base. Same rule is applicable here also. So this apex, we call it as, even though this is a base, we call this particular part as an apex, and this part is called as base of the medulla. So at the tip of the medulla, this particular tip of the medulla, we call it as, what you can say, renal papilla. I repeat again, so many renal medullas are there. You can see this is the tip of the medulla and the base. That means this is the tip of the medulla. The tip of the medulla, all the medulla, it is called as renal papilla. And or papillary duct will be there. So what is the significance? Significance means you heard about nephron. That is a basic structural unit of the kidney. Of course, we are going to discuss later on in detail. So here you can see that I selected one renal medulla. I selected one renal medulla. Try to understand. I selected one renal medulla, and I'm going to next slide. This is renal medulla, right? You don't need to think anything about it. This is a renal medulla. You can see that this is a nephron. I have not given any names here. Just imagine that this is a nephron. Don't think that every medulla will contain only one nephron. Unbelievable number of nephrons will be present. Each kidney will contain at least 1 million nephron. 1 to 1.25 millions of nephron will be present in every kidney. So just for my comfort, I have drawn only one nephron in the which one medulla. I think you understand. This is the medulla and this is the nephron. And you can observe that part of this nephron is present in the cortex and part it is present in the medulla. This is a cortical area and this one is medullary area. Part of this nephron is present in the cortex area and the part is present in the medullary area. Now you go back to another slide, same slide, old slide. Now, if you, sorry, you can click new slide. You can see that here the filtration will take place. After filtration of the blood, the filtrate will enter to the tip of the medulla. This is the tip of the medulla. Now I think you understand. The tip of the medulla, we are calling it as, what is the tip of the medulla? The seventh one, that is nothing but renal papilla. What is the significance of renal papilla? So after the filtration of the blood, the urine will be pumped towards the, that means it is channelized towards the renal papilla. That means the tip of the medulla will basically collect the urine. So you can see that in this entire, what you can say, list, I have given that means a different color for renal papilla. Reasons are there. Now the importance you can't understand in the anatomy and physiology, but once you start to study which one pharmacology in the next year, you can understand the significance of renal papilla. What is the significance? It's not anatomy concept, it is a pharmacology concept. For example, you heard about the painkillers, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. That means, for example, you heard about ibuprofen, then you heard about aspirin, etc., etc. So all this group of drugs, it is having a tendency to damage the renal papilla. That means whenever we consume lot of amount of painkillers, so which part of the kidney is under stress means that is renal papilla. This particular part of the kidney, that means renal pyramid. So it will be under stress. That means so much stress will be there in this particular part. When you consume less amount of water while after consuming these non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs or painkillers, if you consume less amount of water, then definitely this particular area will be under huge stress. So this will have the tendency to damage the kidney. So that's why, so this is one of the most important part of the kidney. Very easily it will get damaged due to the consumption of non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. So if you are expecting that you should not damage this particular part, you are supposed to consume a lot of amount of water. This mechanism, everything. So next year you are going to study under pharmacology. So only this point you have to remember. Next, what happens? The urine is collected in the renal papilla. From the renal papilla, it starts to move here. It comes out of the renal medulla into this particular central portion. Then you can see that this particular area, what is that? See, you can see that the urine came out here from this medulla. All the body from the medulla, the urine will come out of the renal papilla. And the portion here, this portion, this portion, and this portion, all these portions immediately after renal papilla, it is called as minor calyx. Minor calyx will collect the urine from the renal papilla. And minor calyx, what it will do? It will, what you can say, it will, all these minor calyx. That means how many minor calyx will be there? Approximately 8 to 18. That means depend on number of pyramids, number of minor calyx will be there, because all the pyramids will flow the urine. That means it will channelize the urine to minor calyx. You can see how many pyramids here are there. That means how many medulla are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means 5 medulla are there. Means it is expected that how many, what you can say, minor calyx will be there. Obviously, 5 minor calyx will be there. So for this particular medulla, this is the minor calyx. For this medulla, this is the minor calyx. For this medulla, this is the minor calyx. Like that, every medulla will have its own minor calyx. And all these minor calyx, what it will do? Some 2-3 minor calyx, it will flow the urine from the minor calyx. The urine will come to one particular area that we call it as major calyx. Try to understand. total number of medulla in one kidney is approximately 8 to 6, 7 to 18. That means how many, depending on how many medullas are there, that many number of minor calyx will be there. Then 3 or 4 minor calyx combined together, it will have a single major calyx. That means this area is called as a major calyx. So that means depending 7 to 18 minor calyx will be there, 3 to 4 major calyx will be there. That means minor calyx, it will forward the urine from this area, minor calyx to major calyx. That means it will channelize the urine to major calyx. Then major calyx, it will collect the urine. Now you have to understand one more point regarding the minor calyx and as well as major calyx. I think in the digestive system, you might have studied about which one? Movements of small intestine. At that time, we studied about the segmentation and the peristalsis. That means this particular area, that is minor calyx and as well as major calyx, constantly they will be contracting and as well as relaxation will be there. Continuously, this minor calyx will have a contraction and as well as relaxation. So why and how this is contracting and as well as relaxation is there? Because this area, minor calyx and as well as major calyx, it is dominated by parasympathetic nervous system. Parasympathetic nervous system, it will promote the which one? Peristalsis of the minor calyx and as well as major calyx, contraction and as well as relaxation. Whenever it is contracting, the urine which is collected in the minor calyx, it will be pushed to major calyx, and due to the contraction of the major calyx, it will push the urine towards the which one? The 10th area. This is called as renal pelvis. So this particular area, the urine will be pushed. So the urine cannot flow as usual. That means as such it cannot flow due to the contraction of minor calyx and as well as major calyx. The urine will start to move from minor calyx to major calyx and from major calyx to which one? The 10th one is renal pelvis. From renal pelvis, the urine start to flow outside. That is nothing but which one? What you can say? Ureter. This is the area called as ureter. And this ureter is connected to urinary bladder, where the urine is stored temporarily. I think I hope that you can understand. I will repeat, don't worry. And the whole kidney is covered with one thick capsule. That means it is composed of a good amount of fat, lot of amount of fibrous tissue, and as well as fat. The kidney, both the kidneys are covered with a thick layer of the fat. That is nothing but called as renal capsule. So I again summarize it. So a little bit of detailing I will give you, try to understand. Yeah. Here one artery entering, renal artery, single artery, and it is divided into two branches. One is going backwards of the kidney, another is moving front side. That means anterior one is entering and posterior one more artery is entering. Then the whole kidney is divided into two parts. This is the renal cortex. This is the renal cortex area, and this one is the renal medulla. So approximately 7 to 18 renal medulla will be there per kidney. And so between the inside the renal medulla, you can see these striations like that, lines will be there, and they are nothing but called as renal pyramids. And then between the renal pyramids, one gap will be there, and this particular gap, you can see this particular gap, that gap is called as renal column. The renal column contains a lot of amount of blood vessels, that is renal arteries will be present in the renal column. Then apart from that, in the medulla, you can see n number of what you can say, if we discussed about this particular diagram, what you can say, even every medulla is composed of n number of so many nephrons, and as I told you that each kidney will contain 1 million to 1.25 millions of nephron. That means both the kidneys combined together, it will contain 2 to 2.25 to 2.25 millions of nephrons to be present in the kidney. I have drawn only one nephron in this particular medulla. This is a medullary structure. Okay, here I have drawn one nephron structure. You can see that here the filtration will take place and the filtrate will travel all along the nephron, and finally it will reach the tip of the which one? Medulla. Now you come back here, this diagram. The tip of the medulla I have drawn here. Here the tip of the medulla, it is called as renal papilla. And as I told you that the renal papilla is what is that? Highly susceptible for non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. That means very easily the painkillers like ibuprofen and as well as acid phenylbutazone. So these are the drugs which is having a tendency to damage this renal papilla. So, and particularly when we consume less amount of the water after consuming the drug. The next one, what I told you, this urine which is collected in the renal papilla, that is papillary duct will be there. It will come out of the individual renal medulla into one particular space which is called as renal calyx, minor calyx. That means here you can see that the 5 pyramids are, renal medulla is there. That means 5 medulla are there, means definitely you can expect that 5 minor calyx will be present. So all this minor calyx, it will pour or it will channelize the urine from minor calyx to this area that is called as major calyx. And both the minor calyx and as well as major calyx, they have a property called as peristalsis. That means it is smooth muscle. Continuously rhythmic contraction, relaxation will be there. So this rhythmic contraction of the minor calyx and major calyx is due to the activation by the parasympathetic nervous system. And you know that parasympathetic nervous system is concerned with the acetylcholine. That means you have to understand that acetylcholine will have the receptor at this particular area. Which one? Minor calyx and as well as major calyx. It will promote the peristaltic movement of the minor calyx and as well as major calyx. Due to the peristaltic movement, the urine which accumulated in the major calyx, it will be pushed towards the which one? Renal pelvis. This area is called as renal pelvis. It will be pushed to the renal pelvis, and finally from renal pelvis, the urine will enter into the ureter, and from ureter, it will move towards the urinary bladder. Apart from that, each kidney is covered with a thick capsule, a thick fatty layer, fibrous fatty layer. So that is nothing but a renal capsule. So this is about the basic structure of the kidney. But one more point you have to understand. Here we discussed about the renal pelvis. This renal pelvis is having what we can say, apart from anatomy point of view, this is something special here. So I think in the tissue, for example, different you heard about epithelial tissue. This the tissue, that means the 10th one, that is renal pelvis. It is composed of a specialized epithelial tissue that is called as transitional epithelium. That means its shape is not permanent. Its shape and size constantly it will vary. That means it will undergo modification itself, and it will get converted into one type of tissue to another type of tissue very easily. Very fast it will get converted into one type of tissue to another type of tissue. So such type of epithelial tissue is called as transitional epithelium. And because it is rich in the transitional epithelium, but somehow the most of the almost nearly some 90 to 95% of the cancers which are concerned with the kidney, the area where the cancer cells will grow is renal pelvis. This is the very popular area for the which one? This one, what is that? Cancer. So this area is very much prone to the cancer. And apart from that, this area is also very much prone to the infection. So particularly when we talk about the kidney infection, any infection in the kidney, definitely we can expect that the most popular place where the infection will be there is the renal pelvis. This area. This area is very much prone to cancer and very much prone to infection. Very popular when anatomy point of view. This is one particular area where the urine is collected and pushed forward to the urinary bladder or ureter. But pathology point of view, when you start to study the pathophysiology, this area is very popular because it is prone to infection. Then when you start to study about the pharmacology, then this area is very popular for the cancer. So this is something specialized here. And when you start to study about the molecular biology or tissue level molecular level, then this contains specialized tissue, epithelial tissue that is nothing but a transitional epithelium. So this is about the structure of the kidney. So any questions are there, you can ask right now. Anybody? Are you able to hear? I hope that what you can say, questions will be there. So each and every part of this particular area, it is what you can say specialized. So you can ask questions. Pardon, are you able to hear?
Yes, sir.
You are unable to hear.
Yes, sir. Please, sir.
Any questions, please, regarding the structure of the kidney?
No, sir.
Okay, I think there is no